We're having a shot for Anthony. We're going to become live, right?
Okay, let's see if this.
Yeah, him and Kate
all right, hold on. We might be live. Okay, I think we're live now.
Yeah, we are now.
Are we live?
Okay. Sorry.
I see it.
There we go.
I wasn't having any bitrate loss. I don't know why I didn't run through. Okay. Try number 2.
Wow, look at that. Look at that screen.
Okay, so welcome to Open Comms Friday night. Man, lots of people here. So we're just gonna do a quick introductions. I'm just gonna belt off who's here, and then we'll get going. You got regular cast: Drayden, Dirk, Rain, and Blastum. Brisk Grubal is back. Blaster Master.
Add it to the regular cast, Drayden.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to.
Here we go again.
Okay. Blaster Masterson, the current CEO of Black Legion ... as well as the Febreze master himself. Then we have Matterall. How's it going? And then Solon Decimus, CSM candidate as well. We have Raiden Harmon.
The streams in the background.
Yeah.
that's just manic over there.
We have Raiden Harmon from Streamfleet. And then Commander A's also a CSM candidate as well from the Bastion.
Happy to be here.
Hey man,
Why do we?
People are wondering why people are dressed up. You know what? This is how you do it professionally for a for an election type show, right? I was really hoping that CCP will do something when they actually announce the results, where they do it live stream. We go round by round. We sit there and do eliminations and like talk about whether or not that was an expected elimination or not, that kind of thing. We could like stretch it out 4 or 5 hours. It'd be fucking awesome. CCP, you need to do this. But since I probably won't be on there,
we're
for
still
reasons.
waiting on the results from the province of Amar. We haven't seen those results yet, but exit polls are showing that Brisk Rubal has an exit polling of 58%.
Why do
saying
we
it.
only invite CSM that are in Imperium?
Oh no, not this again.
Have you seen this? I mean, I get it. It's Imperium News Network, but why don't we have other CSM representation, Dirk?
You know
Why
what?
is that?
I think that's more on them for
and-
not volunteering to come on.
Well,
Exactly.
There we go. Okay, and that's what I'm going to say right now. When Matterall was doing the interviews and things like that, he reached out to everybody and said, "Hey, if you want to do one, blah 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 blah," and they got involved, right? There are other people out there that ask CSMs. I'm not going to do that. I sit there like I am wide open to anybody who wants to come on and freaking talk, and like they're running for you got to say
What's the
something
best
though.
way to
I'm
get
not
a
going to
hold
go
of
out
you,
and
Dirk?
knock on your friggin' door and go, "Can you come on my show, please?"
Yeah. Nanok Helsinki
just
just
hit him up
resubs
on
for
Dirk,
29
fuck him a
months.
Dirk.
Thanks, man.
You asked me.
Yes.
You know what I realized the best part about us all wearing suits is we're gonna have a great before and after where everything's buttoned up, ties are tight, and by the end it's gonna be like buttoned down, ties like hanging off.
We're going out for Twitch hookers after this.
Oh my
Dirk's
god!
like-
Don't.
Dirk, so you see this? This is my new haircut.
Yeah.
I did get a haircut today.
They get paid in filament or whatever that stuff's called.
I have my daughter's graduation party tomorrow, so I had to go and get my freaking haircut and all that kind of shit. So,
And the best part is
His
at the end of the
daughter's
show, when we're all
graduation, not
done,
yours.
Matterall's going to take us to Imagination Land.
what is Matterall wearing? Is that a jacket? Is that like some woman's
This is
sweater?
Rogers'
I think
Cardigan.
Matterall
I
has changed
told you
outfits
it's-
3
it-
times. He was wearing the red shirt when he
Business
got
casual.
here, and then he put on the leather jacket when I was setting up the cameras, and now he's in like the pimp suit.
No, I told you he's wearing Mr. Rogers Chic. That is the name of it, Mr. Rogers Chic.
Looks like a woman's sweater.
2018, you can identify how you want.
Yeah, I wasn't judging it being a woman's sweater. It just
Oh, you can keep it on, Matterall. I wasn't judging. I was just.
It's too warm.
Oh, now
Anyways,
he's
you know
getting
what?
the jacket.
We're gonna go to the top of the news because we've actually got some things to discuss this evening. And look, some of these things can be a little bit touchy. Guess what? You know what we're doing tonight? We're doing the right thing. We're doing the professional thing. We're going to address the touchy subjects up front. We're going to leave the second half of the show for things where we can't get in trouble.
The drunken
All right,
riffraff.
I'm gonna do a shot before we get into this.
We do have to. Yes, we are going to pour a shout out. Rain wanted to do a shot for Kate Spade. My wife would also like to do a shot for Kate Spade.
And
although she's not
Anthony
here.
Bourdain.
And
And
Anthony
that's
Bourdain.
Bourdain.
discriminatory.
Yeah. So whatever.
All right.
We're gonna
right,
pour a
shots
shout
to these
out.
guys.
Very sad. Very sad.
I will jump
So
on
am I
that
rocking
subject.
the blue label for
Yep.
for Anthony Bourdain.
I'm going to
Exactly.
jump
I'm
on
gonna
the
start
subject.
off right.
So
up?
both of those took their own lives this week. for whatever depression caused, demons that they had in their background. If anybody out there is feeling depression for whatever reason, reach out. There are channels out there. There are people out there that can help you deal with this kind of situation. Don't think you can do it alone. Don't think you're alone. There are people in support that can help you. Please, don't take your own life. It's not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it. Do what's right. Get help. Seek help immediately. Please, don't take your own life.
Well, and if you know somebody who you think might, I think one of the tactics you're supposed to use is to give them something to do. So you say like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing together. Don't go anywhere until we do."
Yeah,
Exactly.
if
Let's
you
do
have
it.
friends that you're worried about, definitely reach out, talk to them. Sometimes that's really all it takes. I know I've helped people just by talking to them, or they've told me I've helped them by talking to them. So definitely just reach out and try and talk to them.
All right. So thank you. That's what I want to say. Back on to what we're going to go hard R tonight, right?
No, we're not going hard R first. We can go hard R. Well, we can go. I don't want to call it hard R. Anyways,
Hard R?
Anyways, no, we're gonna go to what I have coined to be the term streamer filament gate. We're gonna start off there because this is kind of low picking, kind of low hanging fruit or whatever. Some people were calling it streamer gate, other people were calling it filament gate. I think it's better off streamer filament gate because there may come a time in the future when we have another filament gate. And we will certainly have another time in the future when we have a streamer gate. So we don't want to be like have streamer gate 1, streamer gate 2, or anything like that,
What
right?
are you trying to say? The streamers of Eve have been mostly reasonable people and not causing drama.
Mostly.
Not to say they're not.
I don't wanna.
But streamer
that
gate is
apples.
too general.
Statement coming from a streamer yourself.
Yep.
Sorry,
What
you
about
were streamer
Twitchgate? Do we call it
Amraz?
Twitchgate?
No. Why would you call it fucking
I wouldn't
Twitchgate?
call it Twitchgate.
Because that's where they all stream it.
Why do you need
Is
a
it?
gate in that? Why does it have to say gate?
I think some people do.
Because that's
YouTube.
what we
Everything
do.
has a gate
got a
in it,
gate
right?
If it was a
Everything
ship,
does.
we'd call it a
Why
cat.
is it a
Or...
gate?
Scandals. It's a scandal. CCP had
But
to fix it, therefore it's a
anyways,
scandal.
this came to the attention of our producers of the show who were out there looking around for the news that's happening at the time. That apparently there was something that went down. And there were some people who were a little upset about it, and then there were other people who jumped on the outrage bandwagon, and then there were other people, which I'll put myself into this category, who feigned outrage only in order to stoke it just a little bit and then call it all crazy.
Don't even think.
I know, and this is
Unlike
really
you,
sad.
Jeff,
It's like
to
I've
be
gone
fair.
from bitter to like jaded to like all I do is make laugh and
Stoke
joke
the-
about shit.
Stoke the fire.
I gotta stop that. Anyways,
There's some legit anger there, though, right? I mean, if
They're
it's
the
not you,
instigators.
I would think so. I
okay,
read
so,
it.
So let's just encompass this for people, okay? So basically, based on my base understanding of what occurred, okay, was that in the lead up to the launch of Into the Abyss, okay, CCP worked it out with Streamfleet, which we'll hear more about in a second, okay, to get their streamers to go out there and basically stream doing the abyssal sites and stuff like that. Number one, a thing that most of them probably would have been doing anyways, because as a streamer, what else are you gonna do? Run around in like a harpy or whatever? Anyways, okay, so they did that, and in the meantime, I guess gave them some filaments so that they didn't have to go out and get filaments to then get straight into the content, right? Well, this apparently was found out by whoever out there. They got upset about it. It dragged some other people in who also got upset about it. There's been some people out there who've been saying, well, this allowed them to get into the content and therefore make money earlier than other people who had to get filaments a different way. And, why was there bias and why was it? Rain and Raiden Harmon are here tonight to kind of, well, actually Rain's here all the time. I forget about that, but
Thanks.
no, Raiden Harmon's here tonight
Only
with
like 2.5
Streamfleet,
years.
and Rain is also part of Streamfleet. So I actually want them to give people an understanding of really what kind of went down and why. And then we'll also get into a little bit about what. Well, actually, you know what? Just start off with what Streamfleet is, if you could.
Sure.
Ken.
Streamfleet is the EVE Online streaming community, or a portion of it. What we do is we provide a community for streamers to work together. We have events that streamers can take part in and provide content for the viewers and players of New Eden. We also work very close with CCP during events to help with streaming events for them. And that's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay, can you tell us when was Streamfleet formed? What other events have they done over time that they have done for them,
Sure.
on their own? How many streamers are involved with Streamfleet?
Okay, Streamfleet became a hashtag a long time ago. We spoke about this at FanFest in our presentation. And then we had an event called Twitch versus Eve, which was a lot of fun. We had 50 streamers in a fleet going out and taking on fights around New Eden, which was a lot of good fun. We gave out a lot of Plex as prizes for people killing us. And Streamfleet evolved from that event. Everyone was in a Discord that took part, and we started adding more and more streamers as we went, and we stayed together. We helped with Evathon as well, which is always good to do charity work. We have done the Streamer Death Race, which was quite recent. We've done Twitch versus Eve 2. What else have we done? Oh my god. We did the Valkyrie Custom Cup. And we were invited to go to FanFest to start Streamfleet on tour, which we're going to start streaming from Eve events to show people what's going on and give a more inside view as to what's going on around a CCP event.
Now, I think that's kind of key to the story here. This is actually not something I've heard until now, so I'm actually listening and responding at the same time.
Sure.
I think this is actually key because the fact that Streamfleet or representatives of it were invited to come to FanFest and are invited to do this sounds like there is a partnership that has developed between Streamfleet, okay, the organizers of Streamfleet and the underlying streamers that are part of Streamfleet. There's a partnership going on here.
There's a close working
relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
They like us doing our content because we are helping to advertise the game by the guys streaming. It's one of the new ways recently as YouTube and Twitch are becoming huge advertisement for game companies, and the power of YouTube and Twitch is huge now.
Well, it's not unheard of. This isn't something that just CCP is doing. This is something that's been going on with streamers and games for like a decade or even more than a decade, especially YouTubers back in the day. Games would come out, people would send their demo games or their product to people before release, like, hey, can you play this and put it on YouTube or stream it? And to, it's promotion, and it's kind of like a promotion with a review that people get to watch live or recorded for them. So it's nothing new that CCP is doing this.
I was gonna say, CCP themselves, this isn't their first time. I don't know if people were watching when Eve Valkyrie came out. It looked like they had a lot of sponsored streamers actually streaming it. So I know in particular Giant Waffle, who's like big in the Twitch world.
Sacriel as well.
Yep, a lot of people streaming Valkyrie, and you could tell that they were being paid because they had hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored in their title. So I think, I'm not sure what the agreement between Twitch and them was, or not Twitch and them, CCP and them was, but that sounded like a paid sponsorship more than just like, here's some stuff to give away or something along those lines. I believe that is how it works with them. I don't know the specifics, but they wouldn't have sponsored on there if they were not getting paid for playing the game. So I guess they were paid.
I don't see why this would be an issue, giving streamers these filaments to go do. I mean, CCP has given streamers skins to give out to people for a long time, and really nobody complains about that. Basically, you're just advertising what's going on in the game, and
I can jump into some details, especially because like Raiden and Moses really hosted this. So I'm kind of, if you want to say, as much as I'd love to say how involved I am with Streamfleet on this perspective, I was just like any other streamer, just sitting there hanging out. And so I said, Moses and Raiden and Guard were like, hey guys, we're doing this event between these days. If you stream, we'll give you skins to give away. We'll help you get started. Just let us know. And so I volunteered. I reached out. I said, hey, I'm going to stream it on, my own channel on these days. I can try to stream on CCP's, but may not get to it. So Raiden reached out, gave me some skins. He said, these are to give away. If you would like, you may keep one for yourself, but the rest are to be given away on stream while streaming Abyssal. And then...
go ahead.
You want to do shoutouts? All right.
No, I was just saying Cervantes subbed. Thanks for the sub. I thought you were done, so... I didn't want to
Yeah,
cut you
no,
off.
but then I was also given the filament. So I talked to Moses. I said, "Hey, I'm going home today. I haven't gotten any filaments." I said, "Should I buy them from the market? Like, how does this work?" And she goes, "Nope, I will contract for you. These are to be used running Abyssal on stream. Do not sell these. Do not give these away." And then she contracted them to me. They were T1, one of each type. So there's like 5 different types for those who are unaware. So it's 5 T1 filaments. She gave them to me. I undocked in Jita and went and ran Abyssal sites for like 2 or 3 hours on stream.
So they were only the tier 1 abyssals. That's it.
Yep, only tier 1.
That's only
And
one
I
of
was
each, like, that's...
one of each. Yeah.
And I was explicitly told not to do anything with them besides running the Abyssal sites. So for those, like, I am very like particular about my account. So I ran 1 T1 Gamma, and then everything from that I've been using on stream. So the rest, the original 4 that I had, are still sitting in Jita 4.4, and I have not touched them at all because I haven't needed to since. They didn't go on the market. I didn't give them to friends.
But here's the thing, like that, even if people had put every single filament they had on the market, it wouldn't affect them. It's such a small amount because I mean, like,
well, hold on.
It depends.
Five filaments per streamer to however many people on stream. That's not that many.
So think about this. So like Christopher Wow, as far as I'm aware, is involved in Stream Fleet. So Chris Wow said, day 1 of this new expansion, I'm gonna run these sites. And so this is assuming because I don't know if he actually got the filaments, if he got skins to give away. I'm unaware of that. But let's say he did get those filaments, and immediately, like, server comes up, he's sitting in Jita ready to run these, he could immediately put them on the market, which a lot of people would say, hey, that's unfair. He got items that were given to him by CCP and trusted to him by CCP, and he's abusing that or, using that to his advantage. It's giving him an unfair advantage to sell them on the market. However, what I don't think people realize, especially, like, with the way Eve is, I thought this was common knowledge, but CCP can definitely track who is doing what with whatever items they have.
Yeah.
I mean, so
it's all in the logs.
say CCP, say CCP generates these 5 filaments, they give them to Chris, like, Chris, you know what, you go for it, like, we trust you. And Chris is like, haha, fuck you, CCP, throw them on the market, trade them to all my friends, let's all go, like, monopolize this or that. Like, he probably would have been instantly banned and scolded, like, extreme, like.
Can I take the opposite position when you're done?
Yeah, go for it. But like that's what people are saying. Like, oh, that they ruined the market. They this, they that, and it's like, no, like, is Rain implying that there are logs and they show things? Yes, I would hope so, Azur. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that is what I mean. Like that's what like Moses said. I do not think Moses would have said, "Hey, Rain, don't sell these," and then been like, "Oh, Rain won't sell them." Like I trust Rain. Like I mean, that was like very clear to me.
Rain won't use a CCP Alliance tournament ship to go out there and just undock and get shot by a fucking Citadel.
Rain won't use the Alliance tournament ship to shoot people or to trade it. Like you guys have to realize, like they're pretty particular about it. That's why I'm having to fly a shuttle for my commentary.
Here's the thing about it, she's not supposed to fly in space.
It's not about like, you weren't given something that you could sell off. That's like a minimum. But what you were given is a head start to go and do the stuff because they wanted it displayed for the public to generate interest.
Yeah.
But they injected it into the living economy. So you didn't sell them to make money, but you got a head start to get the things that make money. And how hard is it to get one of these filament things? Somebody was telling me today they ran like 50, whatever they're called, hacker sites, and still didn't get any. Either terrible luck, boy, that's a pretty good head start.
Was he running Garista?
That's really bad luck.
Is he running, because like Garista ones, yeah. So like when that came out, I think it was CCP Rise says, hey guys, the Garista ones are broken. Don't run Garista's data sites because you will not get these.
Because I mean,
and then I also, go on.
I was just saying, some people, I mean, it's bad luck. I mean, I don't know how often officer spawns or the faction rat spawns, but I think I ratted for a year and saw one. So
I was up there for about 3 hours running the Greasa sites, and I never heard Rise came over my headphones and tell me, "Hey, the Greasa sites are broken. Make sure you go check a different location."
I thought he was on Twitter. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, I had to look someplace else.
The point is, somebody didn't hear it.
I'm kidding.
Who probably was
in some form or fashion didn't hear it.
Well,
wasn't that the original? The original argument this person had was he didn't hear it through his channels, and that's what kind of started the drama llama.
This is kind of one of the issues that some people out there did have, because what Matterall is trying to get at, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matterall, is the fact that where you were to initially have to acquire these filaments, right? There had been some talk prior to release about these were going to be sold by NPCs or agent type stuff or something like that, right? The tier 1 filaments. But that's not the way they went. They went with data and relic sites were going to be the things that spawned the initial ones. Oh, sorry, data only. Okay. We're going to be the ones that spawned these into the game initially. Therefore, you had to wait for, you either had to go out and do those sites, or you had to wait for supply to come online. Limited supply is going to lead to higher prices and things like that. But this certain group of streamers basically got enough to be able to just go in and then be able to self-perpetuate from there.
Yeah, it's like you go to a concert, right? There's a new concert, everybody wants to see that band, and you let 10 people in first. And that's what it feels like.
I mean,
but that's going to happen. I mean, I went to Jita, and within half an hour of the game starting, I had already bought a filament and went out and ran it. It's not like there weren't folks out there hitting these relic sites early to grab them. I mean, I understand the concern people have about some people getting an advantage, and I think Batterall's point that people were making a lot of money getting these things out there early, that's probably true, but that would have happened regardless. But in the end, to the point that Rain and Raiden were making, look, at the end of the day, this is advertising for the game. PUBG, for example, they provide free servers, special servers for the streamers that they can bring people on and do certain things and all kinds of stuff.
The problem isn't they don't get the material. Why can't CCP do that? The problem isn't they don't get the material early. I mean, that's okay. But we have one
filaments
economy.
were not giving out early. They were given out 12 hours after the release, not before.
Yeah, I know. I got mine.
Okay. Oh, there's a new piece of information that I had not heard
this
yet.
Wasn't them.
They did not receive these until after midnight on the Tuesday.
Makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a different rub on the whole situation to me, because if they were handed out early, yeah, that's a new perspective.
If they were handed out before release,
if they're after launch, 12 hours, okay, people have had their chance to go get their collections of possible filaments through the sites that they've run, so they've had their chance.
Yeah,
depends on how easy it is to find the stuff, but yeah, I mean that does change the things, because then people did have a chance to get off the ground at the same time.
Well, apparently in Garissa's space, it was a lot more difficult because something was broken. And this is something. And now look, this is only something that I heard in the last 24 hours. Okay, this was one of the reasons why Goons moved to Delve, because they felt like they knew that this was coming, and they did not want to have to put up with not being able to go to data sites.
Or did something called
that was the thing I heard in the last 24 hours. I can't corroborate it at this time.
He means pulling back from their forward deployment.
Oh, from the deployment.
No. I was actually making a joke about the casino war, but whatever.
Yeah, I got it. I get jokes. I'm a smart guy, Dirk.
Dirk, it's not funny to make fun of that. It's not funny to bring that. It's too soon.
Can we go ahead and wrap it up?
This was all a long-term plot.
I think then let's get to CCP's response. Was their response?
Well, hold on. Okay, and. We don't know that it was their response. We've actually heard a couple of different things associated with this, okay? Due to the coincidental timing, okay, and oh shit, I should probably find it here or whatever. CCP gave out yesterday, I think it was. I'm going to throw it out there. They basically awarded one of each. I'm sorry.
One random.
One random, yeah.
Yeah, one random of the 5 different tier 1 abyssal filaments. Okay, to every player that had been logged in since a long freaking time ago.
I think October.
It was a year and a half.
It was since
I want to say it's 15.
It was since alphas came into the game.
So, I got an email. So it says claim your free filament. And I have not logged into this character since 2015, and I got an email for this promotion.
November 15th, 2016, which was when alphas came into the game.
Yeah, the Ascension expansion.
Right. So, as part of the celebration of the deployment of EVE Online into the Abyss, the arrival of blah, 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 all Capsuleers who've logged in since November 15th, 2016 will be able to find their filament in the redeeming system.
Yeah.
So, it goes back quite a while.
Before this.
Yeah,
exactly. They did it. But look, by the end of the first
because they wanted
day,
to capture all the
billions
alphas, right?
of ISK had we already lost in the abyssals, It wasn't like people were having trouble finding filaments.
So,
but I'm happy everybody got one because, hey, if they go out and do it, it's great. This is the best PvE that's in the game, so everybody should do it.
So the one they gave for free, like, I know there's multiple levels, T1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, I don't know, I've never done it, but the one they gave for free, like, what is that one?
It was a tier 1.
Depends. It was a tier 1.
Okay.
And they have 5 different environments. So you have like Firestorm, Exotic, Electrical, Gamma, and Dark. They each give like negative bonuses, negative effects, and then bonuses.
Yeah,
exotic.
But Brisk, and that's kind of one of the things that would bother people, including myself. Is it's the best PvE in the game. It's also the new stuff in the game, and so you want people to adopt it as quickly as possible. And so it just feels like it's kind of a fouled up beginning to trying to get as many people as possible. There were people involved. A lot of people are going to it, but one of the things that's very tricky in EVE is that it's a living economy everybody plays in, including AT ships and this kind of stuff, and BPOs that are left behind or whatever. So it's everybody needs to feel like it's a fair playing field, or they kind of get upset. That's what's going on, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Matterall, and that's where I think I point out that these streamers were given apparently 12 hours after release. I didn't realize that. I got mine the next day regardless. But also that they were given right before streamers were going to stream, because we gave Raiden and Moses our times.
Yeah.
As well as the fact that everything we did on there was 1 being streamed, but 2 being tracked by CCP.
Yes, it was.
So I think if it was just like, hey, we randomly gave like 1 in every 5 people on the server this free stuff, and they could go do with it whatever they want, then it's like, I could see a lot of people getting upset.
Here's my question though: why didn't they just stream on the test server?
We have been streaming on the test
server.
A lot of
people are doing that too.
We've also been streaming on CCP's channel, on our personal channel.
What's the difference then? Why not continue to completely give a bunch of stuff to them in the test server? Do they want to see them?
When you
see
it was live.
Hold on a second, because I do want to go to Matterall's kind of social justice thing of equality here. Okay, about give all the stuff. What is all the stuff you're talking about? Like
at that point, if it's separate from the economy, give them anything they want. Give them a bit of
but what's all the stuff? In this case here, you were literally talking about 5 different filaments, all T1, and then everything that they get after having gone into one of these things afterwards, they're basically just self-perpetuating after that, because these things are dropping 1, 2, 3 of these things anyways afterwards, like assuming you don't die, right? Like right now, everybody out there got a free one. If you go out there and try and run one of these things and die while in the process of your first one, obviously you're going to be at 0 filaments, right? Because you won't have picked anything up.
And I wonder if that's the reason why, to your question, Matterall, why they gave them out on Tranquility, is that the streamers would be doing this with the actual risk that someone might kill them on their exit, or the fact that if they lose a ship, that's an actual loss to them in the game, and not just I didn't lose anything because it was on Sissy.
Yeah, I get it. And look, and I know that streamers probably their interest isn't to gain money in the game, and if they gain it, they probably give it back out to people who are watching or whatever else. So it's not. It's just that these seem to be like the mistakes that CCP makes over and over again.
I don't see this as a mistake, though. I mean, how many?
I think it is. I mean, people are
really
upset.
Good ships? What really good ships that run T5s consistently do you use? Because I know Kylie Bitkin, who is a streamer, and Sutonia, who is a streamer. But then I also know that Imperium News actually has some fits as well, which conveniently were also on their streaming channel. And I know plenty of INN streamers are either both within Streamfleet or streaming on CCP's channel.
Yeah.
So I don't see what your point is, because these streamers have actually done so much.
That's a good point, but how many people have actually gotten upset about this? I mean, I have not seen
it's honestly
one and then a bunch of people trying to make really drastic
I think you had CSM members that were upset about it.
Well, hold on a second. Right now, what you're quoting is somebody who only heard about it today because they hadn't heard about it before, and their initial response was they had an issue with it, but I'm not sure that they had all the facts at the moment, so I know who you're talking about.
I think the response was along the lines of they did it again. And they've done it again, right?
But they did what again?
Because the release of the ships coming out of FanFest, they fouled up like a few things.
How is this a foul? This has been amazing for CCP. They've had nonstop Abyssal content on Twitch, and people joining, being like, "Oh, what's this? What's that? I want to try it. Can I try it? That looks like so much fun." Like, you've seen people running this stuff. And it's been amazing.
I am just curious if anyone considered the fact maybe people just got upset because they just wanted to get their own free shit.
Because
and
people are entitled.
Someone's not wrong.
I don't believe that it has to do with entitlement, Rain. Okay.
I 100% think that it does.
I believe that no matter what you do, And here's a basic fact of E. This may actually surpass Malcanis's law, okay? Which is no matter what CCP does, somebody will be fucking irritated with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always someone mad about something.
Even Malcanis's law is secondary to that, right? And I think that this is kind of one of those situations where CCP did something that was actually maybe kind of fucking smart for the business, which is I'm going to tap into a chunk of streamers. I'm going to try and use them on day one to assist with not only marketing of something, but also helpful education of the viewers that are doing it so that they can also start getting involved with these things, so that there's more uptake into Abyssal sites. And the means to do that is not to go show people how to run data sites, but how to actually get into running the running these Abyssal sites. That right there, I'm sorry, Matterall, you are part of a show, okay, that has a higher advantage of being able to get a CCP dev on it than this show can, than other shows out there can. Okay, you know why? Because of what you have been able to create. And CCP is more willing to be able to maybe get somebody to show up there than someplace else, okay? And you know why? Because you added a level of value that they said, you know what, we want to be able to support that value. In the same case, we've got CCP saying, look, we've got Streamfleet out there that has been able to harness a bunch of streamers in one place and can communicate things. We're going to tap into that value as well. And what's it cost us? Some filaments.
Well, here's what I think's really
a little bit of time giving code out.
I think there's something else going on here, and this is just a symptom of something else that's probably the disease, and that is I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot, the conflict between the arcade game and the ownership society is the way I break it down in my thoughts, and that is there are people who have been around who collect skill points just by logging in and all that other stuff, that set up systems to make money, and they're sitting back and taking investment and ownership of the game. And then there is the people who are actually playing the game saying, hey, look, this is really fun, watch me play. And I think there's a conflict there about who gets ahead.
There's always somebody who gets ahead. There are people out there who don't know about.
Fingers on the scale.
There are people out there who don't know about the Singularity test server, right? They don't know that they could have gone out there and pre-run and tested how this was coming out, so that they could come out of the gates already knowing a bit about it, right? This has been from time. There are things that people know that other people don't know, and in cases like this, when CCP is doing something for their business, all right, they're going to tap into those of us out in the player base that can help support what's going on at that time, all right, and that may lead to some cases of bias and things like that, or what is perceived bias or favoritism or whatever. We are not talking about T20. Anybody out there who mentions T20 is an utter freaking moron. We're not talking about Ishikone watch Scorpion Gate with Summerblink back in the day, okay? Here we are talking about these folks were given a minor tool to go out there and be able to run the new content so that others can watch and learn and promote the overall expansion.
And Looney Fucker just donated $25. So thanks, Looney.
Thank you, Looney.
I think we all need a drink to that.
However,
we'll just have a drink. We can't drink.
We're going to wrap this up with a little bit of time here, so feel free. I've already said what I needed to say. So
real quick. Okay, so I was going to say, Godvana Lal in chat was saying, why didn't they just give everyone some filaments to start with? And I think
that's what they should have done.
Yeah, it's probably what they should have done. But honestly, I don't think that they foresaw that this was going to be an issue. They probably didn't think that there was going to be any drama with it. And then all of a sudden the drama came out and they're like, oh, God, okay. So I think this was a response and not the initial plan, maybe.
I think people were talking in chat about it being like pre-decided that they were going to give these out.
It was pre-decided a while back.
I also
the timing of it happening was a bit
I also have an email saying, for my 3-year-old character telling me to log in to collect a filament that she shouldn't have, so.
Yeah, and
that's what makes me think it was pre-planned.
And another thing that I'm wondering about this, because obviously there's enough people vocalizing about it that there's drama there, but how many? Because I feel like this is a very massive, vast minority of people that are upset, because it seems like almost anyone out there doesn't think that it's an issue. They're like, why is this even Why is this even a problem? Why are people upset about this?
I mean, that's why I've been talking
that's
about
my
on Twitter and
mindset.
Skype.
Why?
Like, hey, let's shut the fuck up.
Well, I'm trying to tell you that.
I'm tired of annoying people.
It's not
like
this.
being entitled.
5 filaments doesn't mean that the world is ending, especially. But I think there's a conflict between fingers on the scale kind of thing, and that's what I think that's where I think the core is, the issue of fairness and.
But you think about this stuff so much more.
Yeah, I get accused of it all the time too.
But no, like you actually think in depth about like the game and like high level and conceptually. Other people are like, wait, I didn't get my filaments. Where are my filaments? What the fuck's
CCP? Well, wait, Matterall, you're a communist. You should like that we gave them out to everybody, right?
Well, they didn't at first. I'm not mad they gave it to everybody.
They never do it first, but in the end, we have socialized the hell out of those filaments. Everybody got a filament in every pot, and they should have gotten a mutagen in every.
In the end, it's a zero-sum game.
Everyone's
in the end, it's a zero-sum game. Everybody got what they wanted. It's mutual. Let's go.
Everyone got their
Can we do hard R now?
Filament lines.
We are
going to do hard R.
Redemption card.
We are going to move on to not what we're calling hard R, but we're going to move on to something in a second. But I do want to give Raiden the opportunity to tell other streamers that may be listening or who will go back to this recording to be able to find out how to get involved with Streamfleet.
Sure, thank you. We have a website called streamfleet.org. Any content provider in EVE is more than welcome to join it. Also, the viewers can as well. It's basically a search engine for finding content providers specifically. So if you're looking for podcasters, you can literally search just podcasters, and we want all of the podcasters to come and join the website, so they'll all be in one place. There'll be links to everything they do, their Twitter and all that sort of stuff. If you want to actually join Streamfleet, by all means, on the website, there's instructions on how to do so. So go to streamfleet.org and it's all there.
I got a last thing, Dirk. Can
I? Feel free. Does it have to do with boys versus girls?
It could.
The boys are definitely going to win. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait, and by the way, I did join the boys team. I just want to let people know I joined the boys team.
Did you?
I just want to finish this topic with one last comment, and this is it. Like Hilmar talks about that contract where EVE, everything is real because it has real value. And so this, to me, seems like an attack on that concept, and that's why it feels like there's an urgency to say that's not fair.
You're just
okay,
mad
so let's talk about that at face value then. These people were giving them 12 hours after the fact. At that point, the markets had probably stabilized to the point where you're not selling them for 50 to 100 million ISK apiece. So realistically, they didn't make any extra money off of it from the instant hype right off the break. They weren't instant access to these. They didn't gain anything big off of it.
Yeah, I don't know if the issue was the amount of ISK gain. I think the issue that people are having is that they were given stuff in preference over everyone else.
I'm gonna repeat it. Did anyone just consider that maybe people were just like, rabble, give me free shit too?
That is what it was. Can we move on? Can we move on, or can I start swearing?
I think we've kind of.
Can I pull a creature so we shut the fuck up about this?
Yeah, we put this one to bed.
Beaten to fucking death. I'm gonna start pulling a fucking creature.
The horse is now just angry at this point.
No, because it's stupid. We're talking about. Like, no, shut the fuck up.
Triggered.
Nobody cares. You're entitled little bitch.
You're really triggered. You're
shut
really
the fuck up. Like that is what everyone's doing. Next topic, Dirk. Next topic, Dirk. What is it?
So about creature, the whole thing about that is like, there's been casual racism in EVE for like the whole entire time the game's been out. But like, I mean, I guess the only difference is this time is there's logs that the guy actually hidden the hard R, and like for example, when it was in the alliance, I put my slaves back and forth, and nobody had a problem with that. You know, adversity hit like 1488 in their, ships during the AT and stuff like that. There's always been casual racism in EVE.
I don't know if any of those are casual.
Okay.
Like
now
every single one of those examples.
I'm sorry.
Incredibly blatant.
Can we back up just a bit and kind of introduce the story? I mean, rather than just jumping into the second chapter there.
Dirk, that's a great idea. Why don't you do that?
But Blaster, thank you very much. I believe that you were kind of second chaptering us there, and we all want to flip back to the model.
Hold on, Blaster, can we get some freshening up? Can you freshen us up a little bit?
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Oh, so what do you got for us there? Oh, we got the Febreze. The Febreze. Just going to town. Look at him.
See, this is the problem when people fucking inhale.
He fucking
Febreze.
loves that shit.
Whatever. I'm gonna do a quick shot before this because I don't have a whole lot of time. But
I'll do a shot for you guys too.
all right, so news came out that CSM has removed a candidate. After the ballot went out. This was Creature Verpio from Test, who was apparently their #1 candidate out there and things like that. And it had to do with a paste bin that got dropped out on Reddit about 7 months ago. I believe that's the first dropping of this that went out there, at least as far as we could tell, of something that happened in early 2016. Okay. It was a private conversation, from what we understand, a private conversation that took place in an in-game private chat channel between two people. It was in-game. Okay, so we need to say that right off the freaking bat. And it got dropped about 7 months ago, right, by Peener Smash from Pandemic Legion. All right. The only other person that was part of this conversation at the time was Alchemist from Pandemic Legion. And then now it got dropped here. Okay. So all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of questions regarding this. The person used the N-word, as Rain says, a hard R ending. Okay. 3 times in this chat conversation. And then here we are. I mean, this came about, was it 2 days ago, Matterall? 2 days ago that we were sitting around and just chatting like Wednesday, normal, going, God damn, this election season is just so boring. I wish something would happen, and poof, there was the fucking election genie.
I think you're missing the key point of this, Dirk. So, it was a paste bin, right? The whole conversation was in paste bin. So I think.
Well, that's what it was leaked out there as a paste bin.
Yeah. So correct. So when CCP takes things into consideration, they very rarely will rely on screenshots or paste bins. However, what did happen here?
Also the same, in game, let's say you
no,
said your game had a
stop,
bug.
Stop.
Okay.
So what happened was Creature also admitted that those chat logs were accurate. He admitted that what was said there, he takes ownership of that.
Yes, he did.
To CCP. Okay, go on, Amos.
I was gonna say they also, I can almost guarantee they have archived chat logs for their game that they can go back to and look if they really needed to.
From 2 years ago of everything, like private combos?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they,
yes.
they hold
God.
for years.
Do you, yes.
What else
oh God.
You'll never run for office, Chocolate.
No, it's more of my ERP alt.
The game generally, let's say somebody had an issue.
JC Denton, thank you, 16 months in a row. Welcome back.
They didn't care at all. They never relied on third-party stuff at all. Whether it was you saying you did something or that you recorded it and said you did it, they didn't care unless they saw it in their logs. However, this time they decided, well, he said he did it, and here's the chat logs from 2 years ago, so he's out of here.
I just consulted with my attorney. Hold on 1 second. I just consulted with my attorney, and I have been told that I should properly recuse myself from this conversation. So I'm going to recuse myself from this conversation.
Why did I tell you that?
Looney
I spoke to my attorney staff. Okay, Mrs. McGurk Giuliani over there is fucking telling me.
Oh no, not the Giuliani.
She's like, don't you talk? I'll go talk for you. But whatever. I'm in recusal state.
Well, Dirk, wait. Go on, Matter.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what do we want to approach with this? Was Creature using the hard R 2 years ago, or do we want to talk about casual racism within EVE, or CCP's new stance?
I have an angle on it, a couple angles, if you don't mind. We were sitting there, and this fell into our lap. We called Creature into TIS Discord. We discussed it with him and Harvey, who's from Higher Than Everest. These are the guys that released the log in his thread on EVE forums. That's where they put it. So CCP had it right in front of them. And we talked about it. Nobody knew about it at this point. And we recorded Creature with his permission, and he totally was saying, yeah, that was me. I totally regret it. I don't talk like that anymore, etc. It was very contrite, and so we thought.
However, on the flip side, like in any other normal political affiliation, you're running for office, and let's say 20 years ago you had an affair on your wife, that stuff still creeps on you.
I know. I mean,
so
if
2 years
well,
you're
let me
a
finish.
racist, there's no way you can get elected.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Go
2
ahead,
points.
Wait, Metal, go.
Yeah, so yes, you're right about that, and that's exactly what happened. And we said even there, I think Dirk and I said like, hey, yeah, man, we would like give you a break, but it's CCP. It was in the game. That's what got Gig X. Nobody wanted him to go, but half the population didn't want him to go, but because it was in the game, he was dead. He was a goner, and we knew it. And Creature, same thing. It was in the game. We know he's going to be dead because, and here's the thing, CCP just signed on with. I don't know what the group's called, but they're basically trying to get rid of toxicity in games, and so you can't have a guy representing the player base that has this on his record anymore.
And that's the biggest issue. I mean, look, from my perspective as a real politician, this is a reason why, whenever you are talking at all, whenever you are on the media, whenever you are in chats, whenever you are in any situation where you're putting something into a computer or onto paper or onto a television screen, you realize it's forever. Nothing is private. Every email you send, every blog post you write, it's going to get. When I ran last time, I had somebody that went back through and created a Shaneman Tweets fake Twitter handle and started pulling random things that I said jokingly in comments on blog posts on the internet as if those were things that I was saying on a daily basis. And it was incoherent, and finally it got taken down. But that's the type of stuff that happens to you when you run for office. So in that regard, I think Creature's point is, I was very happy to see that he was contrite. I think he recognizes that what he did was wrong, but at the same time, I think CCP had an obligation to step in here and recognize that this is not the type of behavior that you want to promote, especially for somebody that could be on what is arguably, or at least viewed as, a ambassadorial position for CCP.
Right.
So
now,
I think they did the right thing.
Real quick, first of all, Train Nerds just subbed. Thanks, man, for the sub. But also, see, like, on this thing, it's like I can see both sides. I can see, obviously, the thing is, like, that shit will bite you in the ass.
So you say the hard R too?
No, I'm not. That's not what I mean by both sides. Hold on.
It was a bait.
I got debated big time, but what I'm saying is, I can see the fact. I understand the fact. It's like if you're doing anything in any kind of, not just when it comes to politics, anything in any official, like, publicly visible aspect, stuff you do in the past can come back to bite you, especially if that public thing you're doing has competition, whether it be elections and stuff like that. So that will come back. So you have to be accountable for that. But also, and I'm not diminishing the hard R thing. Like, racism is one of my, like, racism disgusts me. Like, I'm really, really fucking against it. But a guy that throws something out a few years ago and now, like, you didn't do anything about it back then, but now, if he has, now that's the thing, is like, does he do that shit still? Then yes, but it's hard. It's hard for me to see, like, like, throwing him under the bus for something he said like years and years ago.
Do we need the context?
That point, that's why I don't think he should be banned from the game. But I think it's legit for him to be pulled out of this election.
No, he didn't get banned.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
He's only been removed from the election, and that's the important
thing. I don't think
thing
he shouldn't. This is not a ban-worthy offense, but I think in this regard, at least, CCP is doing their due diligence to make sure that this doesn't become a thing. Because I got international news headlines because I put out a video for being a politician. If they let this go and the media got a hold of this, that would be on that would
well,
be
and people in chat are bringing up the Matani and the wizard hat event.
Yeah, he was also contrite.
Yeah. But
he got a ban.
He got a ban.
Yeah, so he got punished back then. He got punished back then. What I'm saying
is,
what are you
talking about, Dirk? You weren't banned.
In 5 years from now, is that still going to be something that CCP is like we can't? Well, I don't know, because they took action right on the point with that one. That's the difference. They took action immediately, and he probably is not allowed to do anything with CCP forever now because of that.
He's not.
That was a huge difference. Like, endorsing somebody to go kill themselves versus calling somebody a derogatory term. Like, that was a huge difference there.
I think the other thing too is the derogatory term was said to a, so it was some, like, it was a very derogatory term, but it was said to a white guy. Like, I don't know if that counts for anything, but I think he said it more as a generic insult. I think that's the phrase casual racism that everyone comes at, versus like actual direct racism, as in attacking him for who he is as a person.
Though.
They are both very awful.
Yeah, I don't
I see them
as casual.
Right?
I see them as just as bad.
That's kind of demeaning that whole racism.
I see it as just as bad because if you're actually
racism is racism to me. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I mean, so like, someone pointed out in chat of how like people use the term Jewing when they go and make money.
Yeah.
Are they saying that because they're gonna go because they're like actually Jewish, or discriminating against Jewish people?
No, they're using a derogatory term.
No, they're just saying it. They're using a derogatory term to describe an activity.
Yeah. But
right. It's like, it's just as terrible, but like I think there's like I want to say there's like a difference. Not saying one is better than the other, but I think that should be also noted.
I almost like, here's the thing with the casual versus the actual, that I almost kind of put them on the same level in my mind, in the fact that if you're actually racist, that's deplorable, and you're like, fuck, I used the
there's
the
a lot
of
racism.
But the thing is, like, on top of that, if you're
Drayden, how do you tell the difference though?
How do you know? Right.
So like casual racism would be saying like the hard R to a white dude. Like obviously the N word isn't gonna affect that dude. But if you go up to a guy with
I don't think it matters who you
descent,
say
and you
it
hit
to.
the hard R to him, that's gonna be very offensive.
Okay. So I think the important thing here is that it's being used as an insult in a derogatory in a derogatory way. Like, that's the big thing here.
I think the big thing is
there is no.
Oh
if you
my
read
God,
the
I was
log,
fucking
there is
muted.
no level of casual there.
There is a
whatsoever.
There is a ton of. I've come across so much racism in EVE Online that it's very discouraging. It's gotten better over the years. I think it's gotten more grown up, and I'm glad that it's going in that direction. I'm glad that CCP is actually joining other groups going in that direction.
Yes, I also think that CCP has also been giving better punishments. Like, for example, back in 2003, you said something very ludicrous, you got a couple-day ban. Whereas today, if you said something very racist, outlandish, you're gonna get a couple weeks or whatnot. They're starting to take it more serious. The player base is very diverse. It's not just like old white guys playing the game.
I don't think it's just the player base. I think it's just in general. Online games are trying to make it a better place. I mean,
which is good because God knows that needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of them are taking it even extremes. I mean, look at Wargaming. You can literally get chat banned for like a week for dropping F-bombs. I mean, I would have no idea how that's possible, but I mean, it happens.
I apparently.
I mean, there's a lot of efforts there's a lot of efforts that are being made just to change the whole culture. I mean, just look at Xbox Live online, and there's a lot of people who are trying to change that.
It's horrible.
I think another thing with EVE Online is that the game came out in 2003, 2004, right? And now, so like, if you've been playing since then, you've been playing for 15 years. And a lot of people then, they're older now. Like, there's really no need for that anymore. Like, everybody's older, mature. You just need to get past all that.
One last thing, if you want to hear Creature in his own words, he's going to be on Talking in Stations on Sunday, so you can check it out.
Shameless plug.
Matterall, why would you bring a racist onto your stream?
Hold on, Matterall. Matterall, you gotta plug the time. Matterall, plug the time.
Yeah, that's 1600 UTC or EVE time, 1600 and 9 a.m. Pacific time. And also the guys that actually put that in the thread will be there, or at least the CEO of Avalanche will be there. It's not going to be a debate. It's just going to be like a whole look at Providence.
Yeah. So when I went on that whole rant earlier, apparently I was muted that whole time.
That's good for us.
We heard you. We heard
you. I know you guys did.
We can vouch for you. But it was really eloquent.
OBS hates me. Fuck.
Can I ask? I don't actually know how the information got out about what he said. Do we know how that happened?
Well, this was put on well, I don't know who leaked the log, but this was put on Reddit like a year ago. So if they saw the post a year ago and grabbed it, then they could have just sat on the thing and then put it back at a opportune moment.
PL Guy had it a year or two ago. It was put on 8 months ago. It was put out. I don't know why then. Nothing happened. It didn't even track very well, probably because Test is affiliated with Reddit. But then it popped into his thread 2 days ago, and so it was, and people kept referring to it, saying, "Don't divert your eyes. Look, it's right here." So it was, they called a lot of attention to it.
So do we think that could have been strategic?
Oh, it was strategic. This is PL, and this is the other point that I wanted to get to. One was that CCP's joined this group that makes this a much more punishable offense. The second thing is, this is PL shooting a torpedo while they're retreating at Test, and they totally hit and sank their candidate. And their second candidate, Jin Tan, isn't even in Test anymore. So they lost their 2 top candidates.
Who's Jin playing with now?
Jin broke off from Test a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but
who's he playing with now?
In general, like
starting his own thing.
Different people want different things, and like different people represent factional warfare, high sec, null sec, big blocks, whatever. So typically they're gonna share the same views, right? Like whoever the next guy is from Jin Tan is gonna share the same view, or from Creature is gonna share the same view as the next guy.
I think there's a lesson to be learned here, and that is if you're gonna do something stupid, don't do it in game. Do it outside of game.
No.
Do you think the action would have been taken if he had typed it in Skype or like on Discord?
I'm kidding.
He could have simply chosen other terms and been
I'm
perfectly okay today. If he would have not hit the hard R and just called the guy stupid or retard or whatever other term you want to use, he'd be fine. But he decided to hit the hard R.
Adderall, you missed it. If you're gonna do something stupid, do it on an alt.
But even then, look, I'll tell you flat out, I'm impressed that he was willing to own up and take ownership of it, because this is fake news land. All he had to do was say it's not true, it's fake, it's a doctored log, and who's going to argue against it? Who can't prove it? So maybe CCP would have to go back and do it. That's why when he first happened, I told him, I said, Creature, what are you doing? You're supposed to deny this. That's what you do these days.
Even that's the deniability coming from a politician.
And standing up and taking his lumps, because he didn't have to do that. He could have just lied and said it was fake.
Well, in-game logs are different. That's why you want to do it in, third-party, places if you're going to do that sort of thing. I'm tired of seeing Dirk sitting there. We ought to bring a topic.
Yeah, we got to go on this subject so
Dirk
can talk.
What are your thoughts?
He's obviously freaking out about not being able to talk.
Real quick, y'all are fucking crazy. I got to be goddamn honest with you. It's like, I swear to God, if I could have jumped in on every last goddamn piece there, Blaster, seriously, come on. Blaster Master is like, come on, man. Come on. You got to come up with better shit than that. But
I thought it was great.
Whoa. First of all,
I've seen Amras firsthand say very offensive things. But he has
never so maybe he's holding the fuck back or whatever. But
he's no big Choles though. He's no big Choles.
I have you on stream saying terrible things.
No, look, I'm an open-minded guy. I believe in freedoms for all religions, colors, whatever. I'm not racist, so don't please portray me as that. All right.
Blaster hates
there's a difference
everyone
between
equally.
right. Well, there's a difference between saying a word and being a racist, right? Like. I think we use, I know a lot of times we have discussions about the term retarded of like, well, why can't we say the word retarded? And it's like, well, that's used to describe like, it used to be used to describe mentally handicapped people.
It used to be the actual official term for it, like the actual medical term.
So like,
so
if you
is
think,
idiot.
So,
I mean.
Yeah, so is idiot, so is lame, so is dumb.
Terms
so
become offensive as they become.
Well,
so is, yeah,
I think if we want to go all the way back, we know where the origination of that one word came from.
Wait. I think the problem is not the word we're using, but this is, the society we're in, and
how they
the
use
way
it.
we're moving to, and the way that the words affect different people.
Well,
like,
it's how
say
they were
retarded
using
20
it.
years ago, people were like, okay, whatever. But saying retarded now, there's so many things that people might consider retarded that it becomes very offensive.
Well, I think it's also in the usage and the fact that using retarded as a derogatory term towards someone, not necessarily like that is actually mentally handicapped, but I mean like. Using it has become a slur that you throw at people for offense, and so they had to change it. And so, but the thing is, like what they changed it to, like makes
that happens amongst everyone, right?
If you
like,
say mentally handicapped, that eventually give it 20, 30 years, that's gonna be the offensive term.
Hold on a second.
I mean, no, wait. It's not 20, 30 years. It's already because you can say, "Yo, you're mental." That's already an insult.
Well, mental could be a good
Hold on
thing.
a second.
Oh, that's mental. That's awesome.
We, because of our own transgressions on this show, changed it a long time ago. We don't say retarded anymore.
Popsicles.
What do we say?
Blueberries.
We say popsicle
or blueberries.
We say popsicle.
We don't say blueberries. We haven't gotten there yet.
What
No, I
happened
think
to
we
blueberries?
say
Blueberries at one
popsicle.
point.
Retard now.
But
right?
the sad part is that guess what? Popsicle means the same fucking thing. So whatever letters you want to put into a goddamn row over something,
It's your intent
Well,
with the
that's
word,
the
not
point.
what
Feel
the actual
free.
word is.
you're not
Well,
going to
that-
retire the word popsicle because then what would like freaking flavored ice on sticks be?
It's
Well,
just
no,
like,
that's my
it's
point,
just
right?
like-
The
That would
word
be
you
retarded.
use, the word
Flavored
you use
ice on
doesn't
sticks.
diminish the intent behind it, right? So whether you
It's
say
just like-
popsicle,
wait,
stop,
wait,
Amras,
Rain,
stop.
Rain,
No,
Rain.
it's regardless of what word you use, it doesn't diminish the intent behind it, right? So if I'm using a word to insult someone who's mentally handicapped, it doesn't matter if I say, hey, you're a popsicle. Hey, you're retarded. Hey, you're mentally handicapped. If my intent behind it is to cause them harm based on something they can't control,
Right, it's
like
the
the fact that
usage.
they were born mentally
And
handicapped,
people
then that is
also, like,
reflective
try to
of me
mirror
as a
the word.
person.
Like
Well,
they'll
that
go
too.
from calling somebody autistic to artistic or acoustic. Like they just change
Right,
the word.
exactly.
It's
But
so
no matter,
funny.
but no
That
matter
is
what
so
word you
funny,
use, if
Jordan.
you're using that
It's
to
so
insult
funny.
somebody who's actually autistic because they're autistic, then that reflects on you as a person and how terrible you are compared to if you say autistic or some other more derogatory term such as using the hard
Yeah,
R.
basically,
It's your
people are
intent
just
behind the
substituting
word.
one word for another and trying to make it okay to say that.
Right? Exactly. So
basically
whether I
coming
call a
out-
guy
instead of coming out and
retarded
saying,
or I call him a popsicle, it's the intent
Well,
behind
hold on.
the word.
Vicopro has a great thing in chat he just said. He said, a word is just a noise until you assign it meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
Rain,
intent
perfect.
behind the
Such a
word.
perfect-
Thank you for mansplaining for me for them.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
whoa,
What
you
I
told
would
me
like
I'm
to say for the
mansplaining?
record is, poor Blaster
You're
is
literally
getting
like I'm
crapped on
literally
by
explaining
Rain
my point.
constantly.
No,
I'm
because
just
I'm
Rain
saying
has
trying to
told
make my
Blaster to
point.
shut up like 4
I'm
times.
trying to make
so
my
far on
point,
the
and you guys
stream
can't
tonight.
hear me.
people to take
No,
Poor
I
it
heard your
Blaster.
point.
like the
I
whole
know.
acoustic artistic thing didn't just come from one guy. Like one guy back in 20 years ago didn't say, hey, you're artistic, you're acoustic. It just took a bunch of people to decide, hey, this is going to be an insult now. Instead of you being autistic, you're going to be acoustic, and we're okay with saying that.
I mean,
But
as
anyway, we
a
should
as a
move
Thank
on.
you
musician,
for
We haven't beat
explaining
this
that
horse
to
for a
Rain.
while now.
I was gonna say, as a musician, I love good acoustics. That's like what I live for. So thank you.
Are you acoustic?
That being said,
I'm caustic.
look, that being said, regardless of the words that get freaking used out there, you know what? I think that civility could become a better thing. I think it could become a better thing, not just in Eve, but it become a better thing on the internet in general. It won't, but let's be fucking honest about that. It could be a better thing in public life. I think people are like way too focused on even like the hard R versus the soft A versus if you sing it, does it fucking matter? Okay, it's like
You're intense, yes.
as intentions matter, okay, but also does the whole idea of why exactly did you choose that word if you didn't mean it for what the intention that it actually had. And I'm going to say this, okay, as somebody who did get caught up about 2 months earlier, okay, using that term live on fucking air on New Year's Eve 2015,
2 months. That was 2
2016.
years.
Okay,
2 years ago.
3.
yeah. It was
That's
about
Rain's first
it was
show.
about 2 months before this particular thing happened with Creature, okay, in a
Oh,
private
okay.
channel. I did
But I
it fucking
think the
publicly.
big
Hold
thing
on,
there is that-
hold on. Fucking zip it for a moment, okay?
Where's your lawyer?
I'm right here.
Anyways,
Let Dirk
okay.
talk.
There are times when this shit fucking happens. It is not the right fucking thing to do. I understand why CCP as an entity backed away from saying, you know what, this is not somebody we can have. 2018, 2016, not a great big deal of difference. There is a difference out there, though, in what companies need to be able to kind of accept on their behalf, tolerate from amongst players, and then all different shades of gray out there. I have to say, I understand why they did what they did in this particular situation. I understand why they would have reacted differently in another different type of situation out there. I can tell you right now, okay, like the fucking jokes about Dirk for CSM. Okay, number one, I've never had an urge to run for CSM.
There was that
But
one
I can
time
t-
you had
Now
an
you
inkling.
can't.
No. Like, even like back during 10 was a fucking joke. Okay, but now I got my freaking daughter standing over here, like, watching in or whatever. Like, this is like she's off on, like, stage left or whatever. Okay.
She's out of school now.
Can we talk to her instead?
The fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is that whether I had an inclination to do it or not, okay, I know that, guess what? What you say has fucking consequences. That's how it works, okay? I don't know Creature. I don't know him, all right? In this sense, I'm not going to be one of these people that sit there and say, because you used a racist term, you are therefore a racist, right? Those people are bullshit. Most of the people that get involved in these things are bullshit. They throw this stuff out there and they just hope that it takes root among the outrage crowd, and then that also takes root among the people who are legitimately bothered by this kind of thing, all right? But by and large, on the fucking internet, it is a grand mix of people out there. So you know what? Feel free to take it out on Creature all you want to. CCP did what they had to as a company, but we've all got to understand that what we say here every Friday night, and sometimes we fuck up with it, okay? It can come back to us, and we have to be willing to accept those kinds of consequences. That's it.
Yeah.
No, here's the one thing that I wanted to add to this, and it is a little far-fetched, but I don't think there's free will. I think there's kind of like communal imitation, and you can see that with all kinds of different examples of fear going through a crowd and stuff like that. And so you have to basically say, we don't know what you mean, but here is a certain level of things that you can say in order to keep the group from tearing itself apart in this case, right? But yeah, I would think like this is something you have to basically, we're never ever going to get to the bottom of people's intentions because they can always lie about their intentions and often do, but you can always hold people accountable for what they actually say. And you know what, we catch them for every 100 times that we don't catch them. So I think it's important to be strict about this kind of stuff.
We all know what Eve has been like over time, okay? And somebody was saying before about how CCP has adapted to this kind of thing and whatnot. I'm going to tell you right now, the players have been more ahead of the changes in what is acceptable out there in communities of all sorts than CCP ever was. CCP has always bought into riding the fine line of where civility ends and incivility begins because it plays into this game. It just does. It plays into a whole lot of video game communities, internet communities, and everything else out there. All right? CCP's actually been behind the curve. You guys can talk about them joining the anti-toxic committee or whatever the hell it is, okay? But we all know that we can search through this game and find all kinds of anti-Semitic, all kinds of racist names, character names in this game, okay? Misogynistic, all that kind of stuff. Forget about just somebody needs to report what might have happened in a private channel. There's all kinds of shit CCP could do, but they're behind the curve on it because they don't want to have to fucking deal with it. All right? And that's fine, but let's not give them too much credit for what it is that they've done by joining the recent headline-getting toxic community stuff that they have. Until they're willing to actually punch in and do something about it, it will still be the players of this game that learn how to deal with those troublemakers in their midst in the ongoing evolutionary way that this is changing over time.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this guy admitted to what he did. So it's not like we're speculating that is he guilty, is he innocent? He said the hard R, and that he basically, is wrong here. Absolutely. And he should have been removed. Like CCP shouldn't say, okay,
I was going to say they
this,
didn't really have much of a choice in the matter. I mean, they really didn't have a choice. When he admitted it, it's kind of like, oh crap, because they just signed on.
How do you not respond to that?
Yeah,
I mean, someone's right.
Yeah, when he admitted to that, he basically gave them no choice at that point. They had to remove him. Like that's any company where someone admits that they did that, they're going to remove you from something.
It wasn't a matter of admitting it. They had it. It was on their computers.
I don't know if they looked it up. I don't know if they went back to the logs, but he admitted it. They could have.
Look, the logs always show nothing. As my experience in EVE Online is since like 10 years ago, the logs show nothing.
Well, that's what the GMs will tell you, right, Bless?
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, we are going to move off of this highly exciting freaking topic, and we will come back to another time in EVE when somebody uses a word and somebody posts it out on Pastebin.
Shoot. One last thing.
Go ahead.
It looks... Is this this thing on Reddit here, Creature Verpio goes to psychotic tendencies? Is that fake?
Nah, it's fake. It's photoshopped. It didn't happen.
See,
I mean, honestly, Matterall,
Yeah, I
come
think
on,
the
dude,
reason
gullible
that
some
really
bitch.
happened was because Tissue in the Alliance tournament last year put 1448 reactive
That was
gas
2
in their
years
ships.
ago. That was 2 years
2
ago.
years, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
here-
know, people just trying to get ready.
That's, I don't get it. What's wrong with 1488?
It is a white supremacist number of letters apparently
So
within
14
a thing
is like
written
the
by
white
some dude.
Whatever, and then 88 means
14
Heil
words
Hitler,
is
whatever. It's bad.
a
It's just
phrase,
bad
and then 88 is for Heil Hitler. So that's
You guys are all
Anyways,
racist for
we're not
knowing
gonna
that,
get
by the
because
way.
like the people
I
out
have
here
to deal
aren't
with the
actually white
alt-right guys all the
supremacists.
time.
Like we
You
don't
have to
even use
learn this
tiki
stuff.
torches
It's
to
all-
ward off fucking like mosquitoes and
By
shit.
the-
Okay, but okay,
By the way, Dirk, there was-
Those Lunella candles or whatever they are.
Dirk, there was the Russian guy that got booted for.
I do, and that was one of the things that I did want to come back to. Is like,
Yeah.
look, for everybody out there who thinks that this is CCP stepping over a line, there was actually somebody back, and I believe it was 2013, who, due to comments that they had made out there under the same name, and it was them, and all this kind of fucking shit. Okay, that was very white supremacist in origin and whatnot. They were removed from their candidacy. Now, this was actually prior to them having been on the ballot, but they were removed from their candidacy before. This is not the first time that this has happened. All right?
But that's CCP flat out says that they do background checks on people when they do this. So that's part of what they go through.
I don't think that's like stalking a lot of their stuff though. Like reading through every single chat log they've done.
Well, they haven't. No, hold on. I don't believe that that's kind of the background check that they do, okay? However, if something does come up, they will look into it. And in this particular case, as I said at the very beginning of this conversation, it's our understanding that it was an in-game chat, therefore it would be part of their logs. And on top of that, he admitted to having said it. So like it was just like I admitted, just like I fucking said it literally on video, and I apologize the next day for having fucking done that. Okay, all right. That being said, I do think that we need to move on, because I do want to say this though. Okay, it can't always be about the same word. Okay, it cannot always be about this is the only trigger that CCP ever works off of, or the community gets riled up on, or things like that.
Wait,
if
Dirk,
you actually hold on a second,
$150.
All right,
150
so
tip.
I'm gonna be
Thank you for the
transparent
donut.
up front and honest with you guys.
Let's take a shot for that.
While you guys are
we can
doing
do that in a
the
second.
shot,
I just want to wrap this up.
go
Okay,
wrap it up.
I just want to wrap it up because it is totally serious. CCP can't only react to the one word. Okay, the player base out there can't use that as their king fucking daddy word and all that. We all know it's fucking high level. Okay, but if you actually give a shit about normal human fucking civility, hold it to a better level than even that. That is not the threshold that any of us should be fucking operating under. And maybe fucking is like also a threshold that we should too. But like, this is what makes a bunch of people fucking crazy, is people pick and choose amongst what it is going to be the thing that triggers the fuck out of them that week. Find some consistency. What can we do in this game to make it better, and like talk to each other in a more civil fucking manner and not play that. But no, I can tell you right now, literally the next time that we have this conversation, and it has come up multiple times over the last few years, okay, it's always about the same thing.
Yep.
You guys want to overlook Jita Jew? You want to overlook all those names in this game? You want to overlook when those comments get made? Guess what? Then that means you're just a fucking poser when it comes to all this, and all you're doing is just trying to troll because like somebody hit the fucking max level of fucking racism.
So,
well, I'm surprised at the fact that instead of them going and have to go to each individual case and like change the name, that they haven't added some kind of filter in name creation like every other online game out there.
Can you believe that? When did I write that? Article? 2013?
Years,
2012.
Yeah, 12, 13.
I wrote that article in 2012.
No, I know.
That was one of my first articles I read that you did.
Okay, so yeah, Dirk wrote that, but
anyway.
It's the same thing. It's like all these other online games. Yeah, we'll do a shot. Online games out there have been having filters in their name creation for a long time, towards like if you try to make your name, whatever I mean, like, I don't think they should take swearing out of it, but derogatory anything, yes. So I mean, if someone wants to name themselves fuckface, whatever. I don't
mean,
care.
it is
Fucking
marketed as
fuckface.
an adult game, right? But there's a
But
difference
when it
between
comes to
saying
like
fuck
any
and
kind of
saying
like
RR.
whether it's racial, religious, any kind of like actual like derogatory like a prejudicial term, it should be you try to put that in and they'll be like, you can't name yourself that. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, let's do a shot.
I just did one.
Oh, another one, dude. We
A
just
shark
did
to
one.
karma.
You did it early. Do another.
Did one.
So to respond to
You
Karma,
guys been
while
doing
you guys
shots?
are doing your shots, because I did mine already, I cannot run for CSM because I have an alt that does erotic role playing and Jita,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, thank you,
therefore
Kamar.
when C-
Kamar Voss,
So,
thank you.
Wow.
so
When-
can you
so-
explain
I have an alt that
exactly
does
what you
erotic
mean by
role-playing
So
in
I'm
real
not
fucking
gonna
life.
give,
So what?
that's why I've never been able to give my API away, and that's why if CCP looks me up, they're gonna see raunchy, lewd, and appropriate things on my alt, and therefore I cannot represent the community. So I apologize.
Raunchy
also,
is not
Whoa,
raunchy. Is that a
Looney
different?
Cheetah last night that was saying all that nasty
Looney
stuff.
fucker, 150,
Looney
10
fucking dropped
cents.
150.
Dude, holy
Looney fucker
cow.
refused to
You
be
guys
Marsha,
are
Marsha, You get EU
amazing.
time zone, I get NA time zone.
Jesus.
Wow,
Hey,
you
wait a minute,
guys
do
are
I-
great.
hey,
Wow.
wait a minute.
I got my family here tonight. Like, people are in town. I'm doing the show. Like,
So not only you have a full house on the show tonight, Dirk, you got a full
Whoa!
house in the full house.
I literally
Yeah,
did.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
front of
you
his
saw
whole
Looney
entire
fucker,
family.
$150, right? Drayden,
Wait,
you saw that?
Wait, hold on. Is that the real one? It's Marsha Mallow 2. Is that the real one? Or is that a copy?
She's been
I think
talking
that's
to me
no,
like
No,
crazy.
that's her.
Marsha.
No, that's Marsha.
Okay, she made a second one. I
She
haven't
said the
seen
word
it.
twat before, and like only Brits say
Well,
like
yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like
only
dropping the
Brits
C
say
bomb.
those
Like,
words
Brits,
that
Brits,
are worse
Scottish.
than the N word about a woman's
What's wrong
PP
with
parts.
twat and cunt? Dirk, you don't pee out of a cunt.
Oh my god.
You know what?
Well,
Look,
Did you just go with the C word?
Damn.
I'm a girl. I mean,
Then I
You know what?
never
You know what?
appropriate that.
I'm not
Before it's
misogynistic.
said.
I'm not
Rain just dropped the
misogynistically
hard C on
offended
us.
by your use of the C word. I'm more upset about the fact that you culturally appropriated from the British and Aussie people. Okay, and that is something that we won't tolerate
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
The
it's like-
Brits and the
it's like-
Aussies are good people, and
The
we're
Brits
not
and
going
the
to allow
Aussies
you
can
to like
say that. You
culturally
can't, Rain. You
appropriate
can't do that. That's
their
From
offensive.
now on, we can't use the hard C. We're gonna say
Rain,
cunt.
strawberries.
Rain, I'm offended on
Strawberries are
behalf
very
of all
good.
women in the
Strawberries.
country. I'm actually offended.
We're going to call
Well,
it
I thought about
clam.
being an erotic role player. You're like, oh, okay, Rain. And then I say cunts, and you guys are like, oh, what the fuck, Rain? Oh my god.
Look. If a
Rain-
man
Rain-
said
the
that
role-playing
word,
thing
you'd
was completely
freak
Rain,
like,
they're
the fuck
close.
out.
They're close enough. It's all inclusive down there. It doesn't matter.
I do want to, I do
No,
want to ask this about Creature, right?
Rain,
Yo,
you're being such
what-
a popsicle strawberry. Shut the fuck up.
Was there any review by CCP, okay, related to whether he had rehabilitated himself and become a different person over that time, or were they just measuring it based on the fact that he hadn't been sentenced at the time the crime was committed? Because rehabilitation is something that matters to me. You know, the whole idea of kind of like, you know, ban reform is something that me and Kim Kardashian have gotten behind, and I just want everybody
Thanks,
out there to know that this is something we should all care about.
Is he trolling or not? I can't tell. He's doing
I-
really
Dude,
good
I
straight
fucking
face.
threw Kim Kardashian out. What do you?
I don't know.
More
Dirk,
reason.
Well, you
sometimes
like
You know
I'm
what?
it.
serious.
You may now right now like lose fucking votes out there because you bought like I used Kim Kardashian.
Blaster totally trolled me this morning, and I didn't get it. Look, my brain is fried. I just got off a vacation. I can't catch the sarcasm.
It's
Your
alright,
brain's
man,
fried
you know,
after a
since I played
vacation?
this game, all I've done is troll people.
You're
and
vacationing
scam
wrong.
people like Peanut Smash. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I love
That's
you,
called
but
docking.
I
Docking.
took some money from you, and I'll never repay it. But it's okay.
I did say it before that blaming
wait.
this on
Wait,
PL
Godvana,
is wrong,
Godvana.
right?
No. Godvana has a good point. If Creature was black, would it be different?
No,
I
I
think
don't
it-
think so. Like,
Like if
you-
I can use, if I can say cunt.
Wait. You can't.
Why
simply
can you?
put racism?
I,
If
You
somebody's
can't,
black, if
Rain. You
somebody's
Okay.
white,
can't in America.
No,
regardless,
yeah, Americans.
not
But this is
okay.
America.
No,
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a-
it's
I
not
doesn't
okay.
you can't
It's
say
not
it's
make
an
a
American.
difference? Absolutely not. And the reason why is the intent behind it is a flat out insult every single time he uses it in that entire paste bin.
Thank you,
So there's
Commander
no
Ace.
argument. There's no argument there for
Well-
if he's a different color or anything like that. Straight up, he's using a derogatory racist term to try and insult somebody's stupidity.
Are you triggered on behalf of others? Like, might there be somebody else out there who says, "Wait a second, hold on, I'm just not as triggered as that guy, so therefore he's triggered on behalf of others, like in a tangential way"?
No, Ace has a good point. He's saying the intent of which it was used was to be derogatory and demeaning. It wasn't, "Hey, bro, hey."
No, literally, his intent. Hold on, that all depends on the reading, right? Like, the word itself is the thing that people are keyed in on, okay? But like the meaning behind it is the thing that like people aren't actually fucking keyed on. Yes, it is derogatory. You're saying this is fucking bad. Don't make us look like this, you dirty AWOXer. And therefore, it's bad because I must actually think that this over here is bad, right? Like, that's where it comes in. Might there be some other people out there who go, you know what? In the grand scheme of fucking things, literally not the worst fucking thing on earth. Like,
bottom line for me is I don't want to talk about this anymore unless Hendo's on the show.
Shouldn't
so I'm done talking about it.
You know what? And I just want to say, because he's out there.
Hendo's in chat.
Hold on. And I just want to say that House Hendo is not here tonight because, like he said, you know what? I'm sorry, I just cannot be a part of this. He's not here tonight because like something happened with his PC. Otherwise, he'd be on here. He'd be providing a diversified opinion, which is what we like to do on this show.
He's literally watching the show on his phone. His computer took a shit, basically. Long story short.
Yeah.
And so he's just watching. But he's here. He's in chat. He just is not in comms.
So, for all of you 96% white male fucking social justice warriors out there, and the other 3.9% women that are out there, and then the 0.1% of other people who may have a right to be offended, and maybe you're not. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, it's like, look, I'm trying to go with the Eve demographic here, guys.
Sadis missed the first part of the show where we talked about filament gate. So rewind.
No,
sorry.
Well, hold on. No, Sadis has been here for a long time.
He knows.
But we are going to move on. We are going to move on to the fact that we actually now, okay, have a kind of difference in the election, right? There's a bunch of people out there saying, what does this mean for the test ballot? Now, I don't know that the test ballot was put out there, okay? But what we do know for a fact is that Creature was the #1 guy on it. The #2 guy on it was Jin Tan, who has moved off into a different direction and doing some Russian quasi-storm thing or whatever, okay?
Red noise.
Yeah, red noise, a play on white noise.
So red noise, I noticed that a director from like 2 other corps in test, they also left to join his corp. So I'm not too sure what happened with that. Like if people just like fell under his spell or what.
It's too early to tell. He doesn't even know if it'll come together.
Maybe it's just somebody out there starting up a new corp and a new alliance and saying, you know what, we need more of these in the game. Quit hiding under the skirts of everybody else.
I should say they don't always work. I was in a room with the guys from Locked of Altera trying to reconstitute it, and that never happened. And I was recording it all because I wanted to have the birth of an alliance there, but it just never happened. So it doesn't always work.
Well, I think, one of the benefits of the STV system that is created for this, as much as arcane as it is and how pretty much Noisy is the only one who understands how it works, really.
I think
I'm an election law expert, and it took me a while to figure it out. The benefit of this is by removing Creature, it doesn't invalidate anybody's ballots unless they only voted for Creature.
What?
If they only voted for him, then those ballots are exhausted. They won't get counted, but they won't count against the total either. But if anybody had voted Creature and then Jintan gets the benefit of all of those ballots.
Not to bring this back to like the explanation of the single transferable vote, but if they only vote for Creature, shouldn't their vote automatically be applied to Creature unless he gets enough votes that he's in on?
Yes, that's how it works.
So
and he's not there anymore.
You're saying their vote is invalidated.
Gone.
Well, here's the thing: the way that it works, Drayden, is if you vote a ballot and all of the candidates that you have voted for are no longer in the race because they've been eliminated somehow, whether it's because they were pulled like Creature was or because they got kicked out by the algorithm for not hitting the minimum vote threshold, then it trickles down to the next person on the ballot. Yeah. Correct.
It's out in the first round.
It's removed from the vote totals.
Okay, I was thinking of something else. But yeah, because
it's exhausted in the first round.
I don't
Otherwise,
know
you have 10 tries. Otherwise, you basically have 10 tries. Now, all of them may be eliminated early on or
takes
late,
the best
by
one
the
you get,
end.
but yeah, like I understand the very basics of the STV, but when it comes down to the actual math, it's beyond me. But like I know that basically it's like what I put in my top 5, maybe top 6, they get my vote, and when it gets down to like the bottom 7, 8, 9, and 10 slots, it's like my vote's probably not going that far.
Here's how it works. Okay, the number one candidate gets the votes. Period. In order for your vote to trickle down, that number one candidate either has to get elected or be removed.
Right.
If they are removed, then it trickles down. If they're elected, then it trickles down to the next person on the ballot.
When you put the vote in, if they've already had enough votes that they are automatically elected, that's when it trickles down, right?
Correct.
No,
right.
Or if they're eliminated. The important thing though is if they
Correct.
are elected. If they're eliminated, you get 100% of the votes. Then at that point,
If they're elected, you get half.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like if you vote early.
No, if they're elected, you get a percentage of that they go over the threshold.
Well, I'm just saying, if you vote super early, your top 5 candidates is gonna probably get whoever it is that it trickles down to is gonna get your vote, right? I mean, like if you vote super early.
Your time electing has no effect on it.
Really? Then how do they know? How do they know how to trickle down?
If you voted
whose votes
last
counts
Monday,
to the top,
if you voted last Monday, Drayden, okay,
this Monday,
your vote.
Yes.
If you voted this past Monday,
I did.
Okay. When the elections opened, okay,
I did.
Your vote would have counted more than somebody who votes at the last minute.
Who'd you vote for?
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying.
No, that's not how it fucking works. What fucking world are you in?
Let me explain this.
Can we talk about the Alliance tournament? That's
hold on.
Let me explain how this works because
I actually want to hear Brisk. I want to hear Brisk because I want to know how this works. Because
this is an issue that everybody talks. It's always a question because it's not. It's a very opaque system, and you got to understand how it works. Look. Let me give you an example. First ballot. Let's say.
Wait. Blaster. Wait.
Let's say, for instance, that you voted a ballot with 3 names on it. The first name was Aerith. The second name was a nominate. The third name was Brisk. Okay. All of the votes come in. Aerith gets 4,000 votes on the first ballot. He needs 2,000 to win. He's automatically elected.
How does it choose what people's votes go in though? That's the thing.
It's a proportion of the total votes.
The first person that they put in gets the first vote in the first round. So you will see a list of first round names and all the numbers of ballots that came in. Last year there were 31,000 votes cast. Aerith got, I believe, 4,800 votes on the first ballot. He only needed 2,800 to win. So the next person on the King's ballot
in the first round, he only needed 2,800 to win.
So he
was automatically elected in the first round.
Okay, so
then the rest of his votes trickled down to the next person on the ballot in the second round, and they all went to a nominate who went from having 600 and some votes to having like 2,000, and that's how it works. Everybody, your votes do not trickle down unless the person that is top of the list either gets elected or eliminated. Like
right. Okay, so this I understand that part. This is the part I'm confused on. So you only need 2,800 votes to win, and 5,000 people put you as their number one. How does it choose who are the 2,800 votes that you need, and how does it choose who are the 3,200 votes or 20?
It's raw totals.
Yeah. So, like, the thing is, all right, let's say, or if you wanted to break it down to your individual vote, let's say, as he just said in the example he just gave, Aerith needed 2,000 and there were 4,000 votes. It's not like it's going to take 2,000 votes and say, all right, this group we're going to drop down. It will actually take 0.5 votes of each person that voted him and drop it down to the next person.
So it takes portions of your votes and actually goes applies elsewhere. Okay, I did not know that part.
Exactly.
Okay,
Trey, there's other versions of STV where they give point values to where you go on the ballot, and everybody gets a point. But that's not how it works in this one.
Okay, that helped me a lot.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You also have to remember that after technically, okay, look, they run this with a computer, right? Therefore, it runs really fucking fast, right? But technically, after the first round, it checks for, has anybody met the quota, yes or no, right? And then it says, if they have met the quota, apply the trickle down. Did anybody else meet the quota? Yes, no. And then the last thing they do is say, who is the lowest vote getter? Kick them out. And then it kicks that person out. And it then goes to the second round. And it applies everything once again to the second round with that person excluded from the vote. And it does this, and it does this, and it does this, and it does this, all the way down the fucking list, okay? Until you get down to the point where either A, 10 people have met the quota in our case, okay? Or there are only 10 people remaining left.
And that's
you may
what
have
ends up
8
happening.
people that have met the quota, okay, and 2 people that haven't, but they're the only ones left, so they get on. And that's how, I forget who it was last year, but whatever.
I think CSM 11, we had 4 people that got on by default because there was no one else left.
The fact of the matter is
Right.
this is why we can't have nice things in America, because we'd never be able to explain this to the fucking, like, you know,
This
people
is
out
America.
there. Bang.
Bang.
Electro College hashtag.
Well, the joke is, Eve is a complicated game, so of course we have to elect our CSM via complicated.
Absolutely.
No,
there you go.
no, you know, I'm going to be honest. You know, as a fucking American who has always lived under the, you know, first past the post kind of thing, all right?
It's just
I hated this at first. I hated this at first, okay? But then once I understood what it was trying to accomplish and did actually accomplish, all right? Which is basically, if you want to go out there and not vote, and I'm totally explaining this to Americans right now, okay? So if you're like not fucking American, don't fucking listen. If you want to go out there and not vote for Hillary, whoa, hey, because when I say I'm totally fucking explaining this, it doesn't say I invite your fucking invitation to like speak. What it says is, if you want to go out there and vote for Hillary Clinton, but you don't, and you want to go out there and not vote for Donald Trump, but you want to vote for this schmuck over here, you can give your initial vote to them and it doesn't work out, but who you pick is number 2, you then have a fucking second try at it. Like, you can do the whole, really, what did I mean by my first vote, kind of like express what it was I thought at the time. This is not something Americans can fucking grapple with. They don't understand anything other than I can throw my vote away or I can vote for one of these 2 things. So,
well, I mean that's part of the problem, because we don't have a system set up where you have multiple groups running in the same district where you can rate, and then multiple people elected in the same district.
if you've got 16
single
people
districts
running in the
for the
same
most part.
election and you're trying to get down to 1, okay, you can use an STV, okay? I don't want anybody to catch an STD, but you can use an STV to sit there and actually gauge what voter sentiment would be across all 16 candidates.
You know
As
what
opposed to just let people vote for 16 candidates and see who comes up and wins with 21% of the vote.
What they should do with Eve is, you know how they have all that mapping technology now, where they can see what you do, what you play, where you spend your time in Eve. Like, why not just match all that up with the CSM members and be done with it?
Well, because we don't want algorithms voting for us, right? I mean, like the Russians did that last time.
Why
and
not?
Look what happened.
You vote by what you play, like what you do. And you can have you can override that, but you have some campaigning to say, I actually do a lot of farming, but I'm actually a PvPer too, and then you can override that. But
I think the station spinners win the election there.
I love you, Matt. Or the
one person who runs off of an alt that stays in Jita.
I was gonna say, you know who wins this year? It's the injector farmers. That's who wins this year.
I think that next year CCP needs to bring in Cambridge Analytica, have us all sign up for Facebook pages and find out how we thought we wanted to vote, and then we could like be done with this and not even actually have to go through it.
Look, you guys all wanted to vote Brisk for CSM, so that's easy. We don't have to think about it.
That's Brisk.
That is the thing. You know, I would hope that all of our, you know what, I'm going to say it right now. Either all of our viewers right now have either voted, or they're the people that wish that there was an abstain button. Okay, which is something that I think that CCP should actually come up with, which would show kind of voter initiative of I will not vote for any of these people because I disagree with it, kind of a thing.
But
right?
is it
not voting in abstain?
Isn't not voting in
Why is it a bad idea? Why? Hold on. I'm sorry, Jaden, but let Brisk go.
It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea because somebody has to do it. They have the CSM. Nobody, unless they're going to put a plebiscite out to vote, should we have a CSM or not? Voting none of the above or whatever, that's just stupid. It's a waste of time.
What's the benefit
Take that,
of that?
5 minutes of your life and go jerk off or do something
No,
fun with it.
nobody's saying require people to do that. Give them the option. You may have somebody who wants to log in and go, you know what? I abstain.
Well,
I am telling you what I'm doing here.
Why do they need to show the rest of the world that they hate this process so much that they don't want to take part in it, but they're going to take part in it to say I don't agree with it?
There's a difference between somebody who doesn't know about voting, you know, say they're on vacation for 2 weeks and they just miss voting period, or say they have no idea. So CCP hasn't reached out to them. There's a difference between not voting because they don't know, and not voting because you looked at the candidates and you don't like any of them, or you don't like CSM in general and not voting.
I mean, like
that's the difference.
But I don't. In the end, the end result is the same. They didn't participate for whatever reason.
But then CCP
That's
can
fine.
use that feedback. CCP can use that feedback. Maybe every single voter. Maybe they have no one. Maybe no one abstained from voting, and they're like, okay, we need to increase our marketing.
The only thing that would do is that it would show people that were actively not voting on purpose, and people that were just AFK or didn't know about it. So I mean,
it doesn't give you a statistic that you can actually use for any level of detailed
it would show
analysis.
people that have disdain
it just
for the
shows you a
CSM
group
in
of
general,
people
I think,
that just
and that's
didn't
it.
want to vote.
I can differentiate between the lazy wouldn't go to the poll and the ones that went there to cast a no vote.
You want to take a knee during the Alliance tournament, as one of our buddies said in chat. For not voting CSM, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, we're trying to convince.
You won't be invited to my house then if you take a knee during the AT tournament.
We're trying to.
Are we talking about Astro Nick?
We're trying to convince CCP to relay the election results in real time. You know, layer by layer. I'm sure they just run an algorithm.
I think that would be fun. I think it would be cool if they did
that.
But...
It'd be absolutely amazing.
Has CCP ever, like, real time giving you, like, let's say Meteor ran and blast them all to hell.
Use your words.
Words are hard with numbers.
Yeah, let's say Meteor got 1,000 votes and blast them hell got 900 votes. Would they show that in real time, or did they wait until after?
You would do it.
They wait until after.
And then they
you would do a layer.
1,900, or did they give that in real-time votes?
It's almost like you get voted off the island. You would show who gets eliminated that round and who survives, and then you go to the next round. And you would just do that to make it exciting, 15 minutes. In between, you have a little bit of dialogue about who got.
Well, not every 15 minutes. It would literally have to be based on 60 candidates, 40 rounds, and stuff like that. Yeah. Every couple of minutes, like once in a while, you'd have a break for a commercial, and other times you would have a break for analysis and things like that.
Fits into
this is how you would do it.
Yeah, whatever fits.
And you know what, Matt? If you and I were thinking more about this, we could have been Vote Fleet. And we could have gotten a deal with CCP to have done this alongside of them and things like that.
What's cool about EVE is war and politics, and you have the Alliance tournament with all kinds of fanfare. Why not have the elections with some fanfare too?
By the way, I've trademarked Vote Fleet, so everybody step the fuck away.
So why not?
I'd like to know CCP Avalon's in the Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, he's here regularly, but I don't know. If
Avalon's here.
But
the most he did was that website thing where you actually move names across the board and shit.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's
live.
the greatest thing though.
Live.
It really fucking is. You guys remember back years ago what it was?
Hold up, how are they gonna do live vote counting? It's literally like, here's your vote
You run
counting.
one round at a time. You don't show. And it may be that they can't.
It's the same problem. That
yeah,
you push a button and the election's
here's
over.
your vote count.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
it's
what
an algorithm that happens instantaneously.
Which is why what it takes is them going, okay, in round one, let us put the slide up of what round one looks like, right?
We could make it interesting.
It totally runs all at one time because, computers are not fucking 386s anymore. For those of you out there who know what 86 means, but
all you got to do is have all the CSM people that have gone for CSM all in ships. Each round, they just get doomsdayed.
They just get fucking oh my! See, fucking Raiden with the value add.
Yeah. Well, so Avalon was saying, he says, I didn't make that. It's before my time. Now here's the thing. I will say I voted on my phone, and I will say that it worked, but you cannot drag and drop. Hold on, you cannot drag and drop.
Did you get an email from Rise telling you that voting on the phone doesn't work?
No, it does. You just can't drag and drop. You have to double click with your finger, and it puts it in the highest available slot. So you have to double click, double tap.
What if they gave
in order that you want to vote for, and then it works? Not
Yeah.
great.
So-
I want to
so-
drag and drop on my
my
phone.
main
Voting, and we've talked about AT. Like, what's next? Like, people.
We haven't
wanna
talked
be
about the AT. The
interested.
Thunderdome
We
is
didn't
out.
talk about the AT.
There's a forum post.
Right.
Thunderdome.
So Thunderdome just opened. So let's
So
talk about
there's
that.
a forum post for people who want to use Thunderdome to practice of how to actually apply. I don't have that link off. Actually,
Does
the-
everybody who goes into Thunderdome right now, do they all initially spawn at Logibro Station?
Mark the numbers.
Actually,
We're
don't
at
know.
174. Go ahead. Let's talk AT.
All right.
We will see
so
how far it
Thunderdome,
drops.
Thunderdome
Yep.
is currently open for teams who have or who are confirmed for the AT. You can submit, I believe, a list of characters or participants you want to have access to Thunderdome, and they will get that back to you to say, hey, you now have access. And
But
then
also,
additionally,
like,
there are
people
5
need to
slots.
realize that not, like, let's say you're in Bastion. Like, not everybody in that alliance gets access. Only the people that you specifically
there are
say get
details.
access.
Dirk, I put the forum post on the show notes if you want to link that. But at the same time, there are also
am I?
5 slots still open
I-
for those who want to
am I-
participate in AT.
Am I your
I can't post it. It
dog
bans me if I
wife
post
or
it.
something?
I'm gonna mansplain to you how to copy and paste a simple link, Dirk.
That,
Okay, so
that was a
select,
gauntlet
click
throwdown.
and
Control
drag.
C,
Click and
Control
drag.
V.
No, I just threw it out there. I
No,
brought
Yeah,
it up and
so
threw it
there's
out
access
there.
if you
Don't
want
give him
Thunderdome.
hotkeys. Give him the base down. Like
No, like I don't want to walk.
Click
like,
and
the fuck is the
drag.
base down?
Click and
Highlight,
drag. Right click.
copy.
Copy.
No.
I just want to
Okay.
say thank you to those bros out there who like apparently loved our show so fucking much tonight. It's like, you know,
Matterall,
I'll wear a suit
179.
every fucking week for you. I love you.
Dang.
Fuck it,
Game
Matterall. Suck my dick.
I don't know what your last noun was there, but
I said dick.
Okay, that's what I thought. like
But
okay.
anyway,
It's all right.
there are still 5 open slots for those who want to participate. It's like 2,500 plex. You literally just like.
How do you
give the
know that?
2,500.
How do you, like where
Because
does this
there's,
get
like, other
announced? Like
forum
what the
posts. There's literal forum posts about this. Like. Do
like
people
forum
not
posts on the
use
Streamfleet forums
Yeah,
or like
on
No,
on
like
official
the official.
e-forums,
Yeah.
There's no feeder
Oh.
rounds right now because there's not have been enough teams to register. Like this year, there wasn't enough outreach or whatever, but not enough teams registered to even have feeder rounds.
I think that's
So,
because
like,
Black
all
Legion didn't
rounds
get a team.
official.
We have a team. Amras, do we have a team?
Yeah.
Does
I'm the
Amraz
team
know?
captain, and like I left Origin like
He
couple
left
days
the
ago
corp.
because
Eugen's hand
his
origin?
friends was trolling. Raiden was trolling me, so I quit corp. And then I had an Eve.
Thank you, Hyper Viper.
Yeah.
Hyper Viper, 500 bits, which is $5 team.
Thank you,
Asher
sir.
Best AT team.
Thanks, Hyper.
Wow.
See, I caught that out of the corner of my fucking eye because I see that shit. I see fucking dollar signs and like bits and shit,
Gold
Yeah.
digger.
like
Well,
nasty.
He's
like
a
that.
financial guy. Look at his background.
Look at it.
Yeah, he's
fucking,
in his
fucking Manhattan out there, bitches.
70th story window.
I'm not showing you fucking Ottawa out there.
This isn't
Anyways.
Canada.
NYC.
All right, look, we've covered a bunch of stuff tonight. We really have. I mean, like,
TV
you know,
time?
look,
Mark,
like,
168.
we didn't talking in stations this shit, and like, you know, they're gonna have fucking.
Now we're
creature-
switching topics, Matterall.
they're gonna have Creature on there Sunday who's gonna come in. He's gonna apologize. Like, you guys should all just like accept his apology. Like, accept it. Like, you guys should all be like willing to accept the apology, like so many fucking viewers of this show did of me over the course of like 6 months.
Dirk,
Okay.
we never accepted you. You're just that extra like.
No, I
llama.
know.
The
But like,
drunk uncle.
You're like
at
the grandpa.
Thanksgiving.
I'm kidding, Dirk. We all know that you're secretly not a
exactly.
racist.
exactly. I'm secretly
Can-
not a
can we take
racist.
a
Secretly.
shot for
Well, then
Creature?
just let the cat out of the
In his
bag.
We
brain?
just did a shot, didn't we?
I think so.
Wow.
But hey, Hyper
Another
Viper just
250 bits
dropped
from
in at
Hyper.
250.
Anyways.
Dirk, you coming to the Imperium dinner at Vegas? That's his
So is
question.
Dirk only invited to
The
the
Imperium dinner, dude, but just so you know, Drayden, because apparently you don't know how fucking CSM elections work for the last 5 years. Okay?
I'm not Imperium.
The
How am I
Imperium
supposed to
dinner,
know the Imperium
literally our
dinner?
fucking show night if CCP is still under the whole thing of, but not with that
Wow,
racist.
Looney Fucker, 100 bits, blast 'em rocks, bricks for CSM. I
Looney
love
Fucker
it. Thank
did
you.
500.
500 bits.
Bricks.
Holy shit! Thank
Yeah,
you guys.
Thank
Not
you.
only is the Imperium dinner
Damn.
someplace that is like a bunch of fucking like steps away from where we're going to be, but it's also on the night that we would normally
Oh.
do this show out there because we don't do it on
Okay.
Friday night. We don't do it on Friday night.
Thursday night.
We do it on Thursday
right.
because you know what? Friday nights for partying, Thursday nights for bitches.
Right. But how am I? I'm not Imperium anymore, Dirk. How am I supposed to know what the Imperium dinner is? I'm just relaying the message.
Dirk should invite you as a +1, Dirk. Why would you not invite him as
I'm not taking him as a fucking +1 because I'm not because I'm a plus negative one.
Dirk, hold on. You took me to the PL dinner when I was in Bastion. You're not gonna take me to the Imperium dinner when I'm in Origin?
Because it was on an off night. There's no question about that. I'm sorry, it was on a Friday night as well.
I'm not convenient enough for you.
Imperium dinner is on Thursday night, which is open comms night out in Vegas.
So therefore, no one's going.
Friday night is either pub crawl or PL dinner, depending on like who you're with or like whatever.
Invite everybody to the Black Legion
dinner.
The Black Legion luncheon.
Wait, Wednesday night I'm planning karaoke night.
Wait, what? Ellis Island?
Wait, what?
Ellis Island karaoke night Wednesday.
Oh, see, you know what? That right there is a fucking calendar ad. I got to be honest.
Yep, we got to add that one in Wednesday night, karaoke night. It's going to be at Ellis Island, which is about a half-mile walk from the link. So, but yeah.
I want to see
that going. See, I don't believe that Matterall is going to come. I believe that Matterall has been playing this game the whole fucking time and sitting there going, you know what? This is not something that I would subscribe to. This is not what I'm part of.
My song, I'm going to do Common People, the William Shatner version.
I'm going to do Pantera Walk.
Thanks for the 300 bits.
I want to sing How to Stay Aligned. Can I sing that?
You most certainly can. Hopefully I'll have to get like the playlist for like all the karaoke songs or the CCP songs, and we'll have to get that over to those guys. But yeah, I'm sure they don't have those.
Is that like Asian karaoke, like we all get a massive room, or is that like American karaoke where it's out in the open?
Whoa!
I know.
Why are you trying to be divisive with the whole fucking?
Why
are you trying to be divisive with the whole Asian karaoke versus American karaoke?
Karaoke, for those who don't know, is an Asian word.
I don't understand why people do this.
Wait, Stone.
Can we all just karaoke and roll the fuck out? Isn't this what the voice is for?
Stone, thank you for the sub.
You had
Nightboard dropped 500 bits as well. Yeah, we missed that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to tear everybody apart with their fucking Asian identity or their freaking American like karaoke identity. It's like, can't we go to an Eve event and just be Eve fucking people banging the fuck out?
Dirk, it's
I don't mean
different
banging out because like you guys are Eve people, but
all right. Screw the karaoke. We got something important to talk about. You guys are missing the most important thing that happened in the last week. The Washington Capitals won the Stanley Cup.
Boo.
Wait. So Prisk, like people betted $50 to win 30,000, 25,000 on the the new Las Vegas team. And a lot of these people are selling their tickets, like
It's all right. It's all right.
It was crazy last night.
They made money.
It's fine. I put my life savings on the Cavaliers reverse sweep, so I'm feeling good.
Cavaliers are not going to be the Golden State Warriors. Like there's just no way.
I know. I think game
are just totally.
I think Game 4 was tonight, and it's probably already decided, but.
Yeah, I think the game started. Yeah, anyway, I was at the game last night here in Vegas because Golden Knights have become my, team. I'm a transplant of 30 years to Vegas, but man, what a year. It was a great series. Hats off. I'm not going to say caps off. Hats off to the Capitals. They did actually just outplay this. Anybody who does watch hockey and know, we've never had a professional sports team. We never even thought imaginable.
It's because all those professional sports organizations are afraid to put anything in your town because of gambling corruption.
I just want to say hi to Looney Fucker because you know what? Nobody said hi to Looney Fucker.
Yeah, Looney Fucker.
No,
so it was a great experience, a wonderful time.
You guys overlook him. Like he's one of those people that has talked to us over time, and like we out in the chat room and all that kind of shit. It's like, why don't you guys pay attention?
We love Looney.
I love Looney. Looney's awesome.
We've literally been talking about it.
You
guys act like he wasn't saying shit, and like even the guy that was with him like less than 10 cents ago, like
chat, Dirk. Okay.
I'm just saying.
10 cents ago.
So we're 5 minutes away, but you know what? I'm going to do my shout out right now to the Vegas Golden Knights. Thank you for a wonderful season. You guys healed the city on October 1st after the massive shooting that happened here in my hometown. What they did, they brought a community together. They brought a sports team together. They brought winners, and go Knights, go.
I agree. I have two shout outs. 1 for Black Legion for being the best alliance in EVE Online, and 2 for Rain and Tiana for being the best Logi anchors in this game.
That'll go to Tiana. I have not Logi anchored yet for BL.
I gotta be honest. I want to challenge Wibla to put TNT up against fucking Black Legion in Pure Blind.
Like Black Legion will just wipe you guys so hard.
I know that.
You guys around.
I feel like there should be rules associated with it, but I think that one of our 14-year-olds might actually have longer arms than Elo does to be able to like pull some of you guys together. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this in the late Euro time zone, which I believe is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this is the way it should go down.
Email me Blaster Masterson in game, and we'll set this up. And trust me when I say
we'll bring our balls. We'll bring our balls to the fight.
I feel as though you guys are only really good after only about 9 p.m. And I think Eastern time. Eastern time, by the way.
Team is active during NA time.
We're wrapping up.
We lock into like.
Are we wrapping up? Are we wrapping up?
No. Look, we got 3 minutes. Matterall, 3 minutes.
Matterall, give us a shout out.
Okay, this is what I wanted to say. Just a couple announcements, not really a shout out. Well, actually, a shout out because I'm not going to be on Talking in Stations for the next 2 episodes. I'm going to be replaced by Artemis. Albozo is doing a great job leading the topics as they go through. So check out those shows. I also put in chat a really good article by Harvey Skywalker about what went down in Providence. And it's a very fair article. Most of the compliments are coming from, he's from PL, and most of the compliments are coming from test people. So it's a really good article. You can find it there in the comments. I'll post it once again. But also want to say this, because I put an article out by Sort Dragon, now one by Harvey. These guys are like, these guys are, I'll just say it, voices that matter. And if you're like in that league, send me some kind of submission, and I'll publish it because I want to get like historical stuff out from people that were in the middle of it.
Nice.
By the way, I took Voices That Matter out of this. There was a publisher that had that title, so it's not. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I am naturally.
I just want to dovetail off of what Matterall just said about how like the Harvey Skywalker article went up on talkinginstations.com. That open comms will also be moving over to talkinginstations.com because we find this to be one of the greatest fucking places to ever No, I'm sorry. I was joking.
Whoops, wrong script.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Totally
all
fucking
he's
joking.
doing is trolling tonight.
Like, honestly.
Remember what happened last time you tried that, Dirk? We all
Yeah.
agreed with you.
The last time I totally tried to fucking joke early on the show, I got totally fucked up with that whole LGBT thing. Yeah, it totally fucked me up. I love you, Matterall. You know I do, but like, honestly. Even to get on the thing I own, along with Wiggles, fucking, Total Eve, like, you've got to, like, roll more than, like, fucking 2 stories in a given time frame. Otherwise, you're just a podcast.
Mandreys, do you have shoutouts?
Look at more.
So I want to give a shout out to my corporation. I know several of them have been in chat. Shout out to the Bastard.
By the way, it was
Greater
a shot.
Imperium. And a solid shout out to everybody who's donated and subscribed. I know that the hosts don't make this show for free, and a lot goes into this. So good on them, and good on you guys for providing a quality show.
Thank you,
also
Looney.
give a shout out to Hibanto Destroyer of Snuffed Out. He's a Indian British dude, and he's the best in EVE Online.
Raiden, do you have a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to all the streamers of EVE Online, whether you're in Streamfleet or not. Keep making your content and keep entertaining the viewers. Keep it going.
Can they do that without filaments?
Oh god!
We'll give them filaments, Dick.
But when
Streamfleet will donate filaments to other streamers out there who are filament deprived.
Hold on. But you don't want to get them filament dependent because then you have to go to T2 filaments, and then that's a whole nother bag. You can't get into that.
Just saying.
Then
if you have a need for a filament and they're also a streamer that can be verified, Streamfleet will be there to help you out. It's like what? It's like, like a giveaway thing at a church and shit.
Dirk, just to please you, I've actually contracted you a filament today.
Oh, I heard my name.
Oh, thanks, bro.
That would make sense. You have to log in, though. That's the problem.
Now I gotta fucking log in and run that shit?
Exactly.
I gotta pull my Gila out?
Yes, I mean, Commander already covered the Bastion, but I'm going to give a shout out to the Wormhole guys who joined us here tonight as well, because I've been pinging them saying, hey, I'm going to be on, because Wormhole's lost new man this year on the CSM, so right now it's Ikzuki and a couple other guys. Yeah, and also Polaris Rising, my home corps, for tuning in. And that's all I got.
Brisk, last shoutouts.
The only thing I would say is thanks to everybody that's watching me on all these shows, and thanks for everybody that shows up in the chat and talks. And I don't care whether you're voting for me or voting for somebody else. Just vote. You know, just take a part in our democracy as it is what it is. But thanks for watching Open Comms, because this is a great show and we have a lot of fun.
Brisk, I literally thought of the scene from Family Guy. Hey guys, democracy just kicked in.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you right now, based on the Imperium ballot, you guys are democracy just kicked in. Everything else was literally communism, and then democracy found its way in.
We didn't talk BL. Like, when do you guys go join BL? You know, everybody else.
When are you guys? What do you mean, you guys? Literally.
What do you mean?
Literally, the fucking sheep on this show have already been fucking cultivated over to your fucking like planet.
Hey, after show, we'll have to talk about the INN endorsements this year.
Ooh. Oh no! Here we go.
All right. You know what? Off. You know what? Matterall brought up an after show topic. Boom. Guess
that
what?
Means Matterall's in the after show.
Knock this bitch off to the next land.
All right. So we're gonna call also Roanan.
My ninja.
Roanan, I moved
you can't
to
say
Origin.
my ninja with that kind of thing, Dirk. No hard R.
I said my ninja with like a slang tone to it.
You implemented the A in ninja as though it were another word.
I said my ninja the same way any Canadian would have said.
You guys do realize that in like 5 years we're gonna be like, yo, bro, you said powder puff.
Dude, I said that 7 years ago. Nobody will talk like me like at this time, and like boom, we're still all here.
If you want to say my ninja, just say the word you actually mean with the intent that you actually mean.
You implement.
No. We've all found out that intent doesn't matter. That's why it's all cool and uncool at the same time.
You can't implement.
All right, so where are we at, Dragon?
We are going over to that other place that
all right,
we're out. Where it is.
All right, we're heading over to After Dark. We're done. Okay. All right, Blaster. What do you got, Blaster? It better be good. Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying. It's After Dark. We're going to After Dark. So we're out for the night. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for all the resubs and donations tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. You guys don't have to throw money at us, but you do, and it confuses us all the time. But anyway, we're out. Bye. Have a good night. Shots for the road. Fuck it. Everyone have shots for it.
And later, bitches.
Later, bitches.
Good night,
shots.
everybody.
Hey.